Welcome back to the NHL Playoff Preview Show right here on CUTV. Right now we're going to get into the Western Conference. First round matchup between the Vancouver Canucks and the defending Stanley Cup champion, the Chicago Blackhawks. Blackhawks barely getting into the playoffs at the end of the season with 97 points. However, if you look at their record against Vancouver, it is 2-2. They still have a legitimate shot.
Yeah, Chicago, 8th seed, the defending champions. You got Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, and Corey Crawford will be an interesting goalie matchup to watch against Luongo. Luongo obviously has a lot more experience. But yeah, this is going to be a fun one, and I think it may go to 7 games.
Defending Cups champs against the President's Trophy winners of this year. It's going to be a very exciting series. I think, though, Vancouver will pull it out, though, but a lot of good, interesting matches, like we said, Luongo against Crawford, rookie and veteran, and just firepower on both sides, offense.
One thing that had always been Roberto Luongo's biggest doubt is whether he could play in the big game.
Yeah.
And I saw a quote coming into the playoffs that he said, I played in the biggest game of the year, of the biggest game ever of anybody's career, meaning the Olympic gold medal game. And I won. I think I can handle the Stanley Cup playoffs. How much do you think, I know he's already played in a playoff since then, but do you think that the Olympics gave him a little bit more confidence?
I think they did, and if that people are saying he can't win the big game because of last year's playoffs, well, he was probably tired from that Olympic run because Brodeur got pulled. We all knew that. I think he's a great goaltender. I've always thought Luongo's one of the best goaltenders right now in the game. And I think he's going to step up big in these Stanley Cup finals. He knows he wants to win. He's got the offense to do it for him. He doesn't have to shut out because he has the offense to do it for him. And he's a great goaltender. I think he's going to step up in these playoffs.
Yeah, I think it definitely gives him more confidence. I mean, I know some players, they think that the gold medal game is more important than the Stanley Cup. So, I think Luongo is going to have a lot more confidence, and he's got the Sedin twins, Ryan Kessler. He's got a great team, and this is their year. This is sort of their window opportunity. They just have a lot of talent on this team, and I think that he can step up for them this year.
I think they do have a lot of talent on this team, and I think Chicago is suffering from a little bit of a Stanley Cup hangover still. Yeah. I think Vancouver is going to pull this one out 4-2.
I have Vancouver in 7 games. I think it's going to go 7 games. These are 2 really good teams.
I think it'll go 6 Vancouver-wise. Chicago, when they lost all their players to free agency and the cup and the cap and everything, I think they lost a lot of leadership with Ladd and Byfuglien. I would go 6. I think Vancouver's just a little bit more talented because Henrik Sedin, your Hart Trophy winner last year, now you have his brother Daniel probably going to win it this year, so they got offense.
Absolutely. Who are your players to watch?
For Vancouver, I have Ryan Kessler. He's had a great year this year. He's probably one of the favorites to win the Selke Award. He's a second-line center for this team, but I think that this guy could be a first-line center for a lot of teams.
Yep.
So I think Ryan Kessler's a guy to watch for Vancouver. Chicago, I have Jonathan Toews, the captain of the Chicago Blackhawks, obviously winning a cup last year, is going to benefit the entire team as well as him. So, he has a lot of talent, a lot of leadership, so I think he's going to be the guy to watch for Chicago.
I have Henrik Sedin as my player to watch for Vancouver because Daniel's had the big year this year, and if Henrik can get his act together and play in this playoffs like Daniel's been playing this entire season, this team's going to be very dangerous with that 2-team punch. And then as for the Blackhawks, I have Patrick Kane. I have him because he's a playmaker on that Chicago team. He's a very good player, very good passer, and he can make plays. Plus, he's rocking the mullet again this year. So hopefully he can grow it within the 6-game series that I have them going here.
Absolutely. I think Ryan Kessler is going to be your player to watch for Vancouver. He's really stepped up his game this year. He's really kind of changed the way he played, shuts his mouth a little bit more, and plays the game on the ice. And I think Corey Crawford, if the Blackhawks have any hope in pulling out this series, he's going to have to stand on his head. So those are my 2 players to watch for that series. Next, let's move on to the Battle of California, San Jose against LA. LA coming in with some injury problems. San Jose coming in kind of hot, but their biggest problem has always been, can they win in the playoffs?
Yeah, they're known to choke in the playoffs, as we've all heard in the past how many seasons. But still, this is going to be a great matchup. Los Angeles, Jonathan Quick. And the Battle of California, this is kind of developing into a rivalry since both teams are from California. It's going to be fun to watch. I think San Jose comes out on top, though.
Yeah, these two teams are very evenly matched, and as you can see in the season series, 3-1-2 for San Jose, 3-3 for the LA Kings. I agree with you. I think San Jose is going to win. I think it might be actually in 6, maybe even 5 because of the injury problems to LA. And there's something about this San Jose team. They've been flying under the radar, I believe, this entire season, at least in my opinion. And I think they're going to explode in these playoffs. They got the two powerhouses in the Joes, Joe Pavelski and Thornton, and Danny Heatley, Patrick Marleau, and then the rookie Kotora for them. It's going to be an exciting team. Oh, and also the Antti Niemi, who made it to the Stanley Cup Finals as their goaltender.
Yeah, San Jose, I think this is their best chance out of everyone that they've had so far to win the Cup this year. I mean, they should be a strong team. You talked about Kotora playing well. You talked about Joe Thornton really having more experience now. You have Niemi in net, who won the Cup last year with Chicago. They should be a good team.
Yeah, for sure.
So who do you guys have winning the series?
I have San Jose in 6 games.
I'll say San Jose in 6, could be 5 for them, but I'll say 6 too because I think LA will win a couple games at home or maybe steal one in the Shark Tank, which is, by the way, the coolest name, I think, in the entire NHL for an arena.
Yep. Yeah, I also have San Jose in 6. I think that Jonathan Quick is going to be able to pull out at least 2 games. So he's going to have to stand on his head once again. We talked about goaltending battles. He's going to have to play very, very well, especially with Anze Kopitar and possibly Justin Williams being out.
Yeah, they're going to have to really lean on him for this series. Well, for any series, if they continue to advance, they're going to, they're going to need him more and more.
Yep. Okay, so who are your key players to watch?
San Jose, I have Joe Pavelski. I don't think a lot of people look at him very much. He's young, and he's sort of overlooked by Thornton, Heatley, all those guys. He's young, and I think he can sort of step up in the playoffs and just go a little under the radar for against some teams. Los Angeles, I have Dustin Brown, 28 goals, 29 assists this year, the captain of the Los Angeles Kings.
I have Dustin Brown as well for the LA Kings. I agree with you. I think because of the Kopitar injury, Brown's going to step up. I like Joe Pavelski, but I'm going to go with Big Joe Thornton. The guy knows he's been through all the playoff troubles for this San Jose Sharks team. I think he knows this is his playoffs. He's going to try to step up, do a lot more than he can to get them. Because they made it to the conference finals last year, but then they got swept. So he's going to try to take them to that cup.
For San Jose, my key player to watch is going to be Danny Heatley. He had some issues with some of his other teams. He did not want to go to the Oilers. He wanted a chance in the Stanley Cup playoffs to play with her contender. Well, here's your chance. He really needs to pick it up and be one of the key components to the San Jose Sharks. For the LA Kings, I have Justin Williams just because I think he's really going to have to pick it up with Kopitar being out, and they're going to need a lot of offense to help Jonathan Quick. Okay, let's move on to the next series. As I said, this is a rematch from last year in the first round. Detroit and Phoenix. Phoenix, there's some rumors going around. This may be their last season in Phoenix. They may be moving to Winnipeg. Do you think that's going to be an influence on this series?
I don't think so. I mean, this is playoff time. I think everybody's just focused on the Stanley Cup right now, the ultimate prize. This is this season. It's not next season.
Right.
So, I don't think that's really a main concern for them. They're going to have to lean on Ilya Bryzgalov, though, to move on in these playoffs.
I think they'll maybe use it as a little bit of a motivator, but I don't think it's going to matter in this series. Detroit's really good this year. Once Zetterberg comes back, which I think he should in this playoff series, that Detroit team, like I said earlier, this is looking a lot like that 08 team. They're firepower, they're great, and Jimmy Howard's playing very well for a second-year goaltender. I mean, Phoenix, they're a good story and everything, but I don't think they're going to make it past Detroit.
Yeah, I think Detroit's offensive firepower is just going to be way too much for the Phoenix Coyotes. As much as I want to see them win and have that feel-good story, I don't think it's going to happen. So what are you guys' predictions?
I actually do have Phoenix winning it in 7 games. Obviously, I think it's going to be a better series than people anticipate. I think Bryzgalov's going to steal a couple, or 3 games rather, but they're really going to have to heavily lean on this guy.
I think Detroit in 5, but Phoenix with Ilya Bryzgalov can push it to 6. But I think Detroit in 5, they just a little bit more veteran talent. And this was a rematch of last year. You could say both these teams know each other, and Phoenix might have that upper edge. But this is looking a lot like that 08 Detroit Red Wings team.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Detroit in 7 just because they just have too much firepower. Jimmy Howard's playing well. I think Phoenix, unfortunately, is going to lose this series, although they have not lost to the Wings in regulation during the regular season, so that's something you have to look at too. Who are your key players to watch, Andy?
Detroit, I have Jimmy Howard, very hot, and another hot goaltender. Hot goaltenders can carry you through the playoffs, and if he does that, that's going to be a huge reason why Detroit moves on. And for Phoenix, I have Keith Yandel, one of the top defensive award.
Selke.
Yeah, Selke. Selke. I think he's one of the top finalists for that, and he's had a fantastic season this year. 11 goals, 48 assists. So he's very young too. So I think if he steps up in these playoffs, he could be huge for them.
I have the two goalies going against each other, Howard and Briskalov. I think Jimmy Howard in his second year as a playoff goaltender needs to really step up in these playoffs. I think he can carry actually this Detroit team because he has that veterans in front of him, and they'll play defense for him. And Briskalov, just a great goaltender for this Phoenix team. He doesn't get that much press because he's in Arizona, but he gets he's a very good goaltender, makes a lot of good saves, good stat-wise. But in the end, I think Jimmy Howard will have the upper hand because of the people he has in front of him.
Right. I think Jimmy Howard is going to have to play well. He's my key player for Detroit because you do have some veterans in front who, when it's a long playoff series, you're going to have some injuries. You're going to have some bumps and bruises. They may not be able to hold up through a tough 7-game series. So Jimmy Howard is going to have to pull out and win some games for the Red Wings. For Phoenix, I have Shane Doan, the veteran, the leader on this team. He really needs to play well and make sure everybody around him is playing well if they want to try to knock off the Red Wings.